Why the sky is far away. Raman looked at the food in his lunch box and made a face. Idli and chutney and idli again, he said to his friend Beam. Beam gave his own lunch a critical look and frowned. You think that's bad, he said. I've got bread and jam again. It's the third time this week. They pushed the food aside. We can get something at the burger place after school, Raman said. They concentrated on studying for their English test instead of eating. English was next period, and Mr. Frank had a reputation for giving difficult tests. When the bell rang, they dropped their uneaten lunches into the garbage. Mr. Frank was standing nearby. Not hungry, guys? He asked. They shook their heads and hurried off to class. When the test was over, there were still 10 minutes left in the period. Mr. Frank stood at the front of the class. Before your leave today, he said, leaning against the desk, I'd like to share an old African folktale with you. I think you'll find this one interesting. It's called, Why the Sky is Far Away. Long ago the sky was close to the earth. Men and women did not have to plant their own food. Instead, when they were hungry, they just reached up and broke off a piece of the sky to eat. Sometimes the sky tasted like ripe bananas. Other times it tasted like roasted potatoes. The sky was always delicious. People spent their time making beautiful cloth. They painted beautiful pictures and sang songs at night. The Grand King, Oba, had a wonderful palace. His servants made beautiful shapes out of pieces of sky. Many people in the kingdom did not use the gift of the sky wisely. When they took more than they could eat, the sky became angry. Some people threw the extra pieces into the garbage. Early one morning the angry sky turned dark. Black clouds hung over the land and a great sky voice said to all the people, You are wasting my gift of food. Do not take more than you can eat. I don't want to see pieces of me in the garbage anymore or I will take my gift away. The king and the people trembled with fear. King Oba said, Let's be careful about how much food we take. For a long time, all the people were careful. But one man named Adami wasn't careful. At festival time, he took so many delicious pieces of sky that he couldn't eat them all. He knew he must not throw them away. He tried to give the pieces to his wife. Here, wife, Adami said. You eat the rest. I can't, Adami's wife said. I'm too full. Adami asked all his children to help him eat the delicious pieces of sky, but the children couldn't eat one more bite. So Adami decided to try to hide the pieces at the bottom of the garbage pile. Suddenly, the sky became angry and the clouds turned black. You have wasted my gift of food again, yelled the sky. This time I will go away so you cannot waste me anymore. All of the people cried, What will we eat? We might starve. The sky said, You will have to learn how to plant crops in the ground and hunt in the forests. If you work hard, you may learn not to waste the gifts of nature. Everyone watched as the sky sailed away. From that time on, they worked hard to grow their food and cook their meals. They always tried to remember not to waste the gifts of nature. The bell rang for the next period. That's the end, Mr. Frank said, smiling. He looked at Raman and Bheem. What did you think of the story? He asked. They slouched in their chairs and looked apologetic. We get the message, they said, smiling. No more lunches in the garbage. Use all your strength. To ask for help and support when we need it is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of wisdom. While walking along a forest path, Dinah and her father came across a large tree branch on the ground. Dad, if I try, do you think I could move that branch? I am sure you can if you use all your strength. Dinah tried her best to lift the branch, but she couldn't move it. You were wrong, Dad. I can't move it. The disappointment was evident in the little girl's voice. Try again with all your strength, encouraged her father. Dinah tried again but failed. Dad, I cannot do it. Young lady, I advised you to use all your strength. You didn't ask for my help. Our real strength lies not in independence, but in interdependence. To ask for help when in need is not a sign of weakness but a sign of wisdom. Two poor boys. In New York there were Joe and Bill. Joe and Bill were close friends. But they were very poor. They did odd deeds to earn money. They swept and cleaned the streets for their living. One cold morning, Joe was wandering along the streets of New York. He found an apple. He picked up the apple from the ground. He asked his friend Bill, "What did you find today for our night food?" "I got nothing today," replied Bill in anguish. Joe gave his apple to Bill and said, "Bill, you eat this apple." Bit a small piece off the apple. Joe said, "No, bite off more, eat more. I am strong. I can bear hunger. You are weak. You cannot bear hunger." By these words of Joe, Bill was satisfied and he remained a good friend of Joe forever. Thereafter they remained good friends. Two-headed bird. Once upon a time a strange bird lived by the side of a river. His name was Purundam. He had two heads and one stomach. For the two heads there were two mouths, one for each one. One day the bird was wandering for his food. After a long time he got a prey. It was very happy. The first mouth was about to eat the full prey. The second mouth stopped the first mouth and demanded half of the prey. "I will not give you anything," said the first mouth and ate all the prey. The other mouth got angry. In order to take revenge, it decided to do one thing. It searched and gulped the poison it found. Though the mouths are two, the stomach is only one. The same stomach, it not it. So the poison spread all over the body. The strange bird died. So, unity is the strength. Understand your anger. There once was a young boy with a very bad temper. The boy's father wanted to teach him a lesson, so he gave him a bag of nails and told him that every time he lost his temper he must hammer a nail into their wooden fence. On the first day of this lesson, the little boy had driven 37 nails into the fence. He was really mad. Over the course of the next few weeks, the little boy began to control his temper, so the number of nails that were hammered into the fence dramatically decreased. It wasn't long before the little boy discovered it was easier to hold his temper than to drive those nails into the fence. Then, the day finally came when the little boy didn't lose his temper even once, and he became so proud of himself, he couldn't wait to tell his father. Pleased, his father suggested that he now pull out one nail for each day that he could hold his temper. Several weeks went by and the day finally came when the young boy was able to tell his father that all the nails were gone. Very gently, the father took his son by the hand and led him to the fence. "You have done very well, my son," he smiled. "But look at the holes in the fence. The fence will never be the same." The little boy listened carefully as his father continued to speak. "When you say things in anger, they leave permanent scars just like these. And no matter how many times you say you're sorry, the wounds will still be there.